There's quite a bit of interesting talk about addictions, mostly because I'm having this smoking addiction. And um, what I wanted to say is to be human means you have an addiction. We all have addictions. And it's just a matter of whether you've paid attention to an addiction that's causing you harm. No, smoking causes harm to my financial bank account. It causes harm to my physical body. Um, so clearly, it's an addiction that ain't working too good. But you can be addicted to coffee, and that's depending on your income, could affect your income. And regardless of how high your income is, you're still spending an awful lot of money on an addiction. So it's definitely affecting your bank account, but a lot of people won't notice it. It's also doing harm to your body. It's also guiding you down a completely wrong path. Because why do you need coffee? This is the most insane addiction that I can't comprehend at all. I don't drink coffee, just been sort of an observer, but the stuff tastes like shit. And it's like, why does everybody love coffee when it tastes so bad? And everybody will say it's an acquired taste. So it's almost like you gotta convince your mind that it tastes good. Why? Because of the drug. That is the most addicting drug there is caffeine. And what does caffeine do? It gives you energy. And why do you need energy? Because somebody wants you to work. And you're not realizing that the universe is making you work so much that when you're done working, you don't have enough energy for your pleasure. So that's, you will take coffee in the morning to, you know, got to do this work again. Whatever job you need to do, you need your energy to do it. Why? Because you all of your energy is sucked out. If you wake up every morning and don't have enough energy to work 8 hours, something's wrong with your life. Like if you are human and to work 8 hours is a normal, healthy thing to do, then you should be able to do it without coffee, without a drug. If you get home from work and you have no energy to even cook food for yourself or enjoy your evening or your time off, then who you worked for worked you too hard. They sucked all your energy, so you need more fake energy. You're not taking any energy out of yourself. You're using energy from a drug. And while that drug is making you work even harder, it's killing you and you don't know it. It's like you're a frog in boiling water, but the water's not quite boiling yet. And when you find out that the water's boiling, you're dead. It's too late. But somebody can warn you and say, hey, you know what? You're in a pot. There's a lot of water in that pot. Somebody just turned that stove on. And if you're taking any type of drug, there's a reason. You know, why do you need caffeine? Why do you need pot? Why do you need cigarettes? Why do you need anything? What is the cause that makes you do that? Now, for me, smoking, um, I have the same thought processes as my abusive father. Not a pretty picture. But this man, every time he got really, really frustrated, he would go for a smoke. Anytime he picked a fight with my mother and she didn't do, she wasn't doing what he wanted her to do, he would go and have a cigarette. So basically, if life didn't go his way, he would always go for a cigarette. And he would always try and quit smoking. And within a month, the man would blow. Nothing would be going wrong, but he will create a fight just so he can get to that frustration level and go and have that cigarette. And he'd never see himself doing it. And the reason that he smoked was not so much people weren't listening to him. Well, actually, that is the whole reason. Is here's a man that had a lot of control issues. And, obviously he felt like he was going to do the right thing. Here's a man that there was 10 kids in his family. He was the oldest boy. He was, a boy, a teenager that actually worked and fed his siblings because his father was an alcoholic and a gambler, and they had 10 kids to feed. So here is my father, this hero guy, basically fed and clothed his brothers and sisters. Yet when he has kids, um, naturally, if he's a teenager and was able to be that responsible, you would think that when he's a father, he knows what to do. So if he's this guy that thinks he knows what to do, if everybody just listened to him, life would go great. The problem is that he's wrong while he thinks he's right. He's one of those guys. He's got the same language going on as these elites. Um, Life is about money. Life is about going and working and earning money. And you are nobody until you earn money. You can't get any love unless you earn a lot of money. This is the words, the languages that I've heard all my life from my father. Is everything, all aspects about life had to do with money, and the only time you're successful is when your bank account gets high. He was also a man that constantly told me that I was too stupid, too lazy to. If this man could come up with a name to call me, he would call me that name. And then tell me that in order to be successful, I got to be rich. And it's like, okay, so you've raised somebody. Your idea of right is to tell somebody that you're too stupid to do something, and what it is I want you to do, you'll never ever be able to do. And this is a good father. So how good was the information that he was, basing his opinions on, that he was right? Um, to me, it makes, I find with 4 kids that if I tell them, hey, you know what, you're going to win that race. You're really strong. You're really smart. You've been practicing. You've done everything. You are such a powerful being. You're going to win that race. And you know what? My kids always generally win. When I'm coaching them on how to be successful, they usually are successful. When I'm coaching them how to fail, they usually fail. And basically, I have a father that raised, 3 kids to fail. And then he's thinking in his mind that he knows the right thing to do. And if I can just control everybody to do what I know is right, then life will be wonderful. And he came up with a little bit of resistance. And the issue is control. And when you can see that he's got control issues, that he's got to control other people, generally the solution is learn how to control yourself. If you got a control issue, generally it's not about controlling other people, it's about controlling yourself. And this man doesn't know how to control himself. He has zero interest in controlling himself, no effort in controlling himself. It's all about controlling the world. And that's where I see that same pattern everywhere. Nobody has any interest in controlling their own lives, but they got a lot of information they want to tell other people on hey, just do it my way. Which brings me to my channel that self-control. Well, if I'm smoking, obviously I'm not gotten that control, but it's like, you know what, I'm smoking because the world is all fucked up, and who wants to live in a world that's so friggin' fucked up? Like there's a message in, my subconscious mind says, die, 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 choose death, choose death. So every time I go for a cigarette, there's that thought that I have to say, no, live, you want to live. And this YouTube channel is basically giving me the language that I need to have that conversation with when it says just die, 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 have a smoke. It isn't enough to just say, no, live, because it's like, well, live why? Like you have to have a lot more information to carry on that type of conversation because, when the voice says, hey, just die, 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 and you go for that smoke, you got to say, well, no, live why do you want to live? And it's the whys that I needed more um, information to give to that problem. And thanks to everybody that's commenting on my channel and supporting me. Um, you've given me more language to give to this particular problem because um, it's you. Um, if I didn't know that there were good people like you in the world, I would think that there's no hope at all. So it's like I kind of needed to see that lighthouse, of hey, there's life out here. And if there's other life out there like me, then maybe life is worth living. And you won't be successful at changing the world unless you need people to help you do what you need to do. So I want to help you, and I can't do what I need unless you help me. So if I'm dead, I can't help you, and if I'm dead, you can't help me. So we got to sort of be alive to make a change. Kind of love a challenge. So there's another argument too that I think changing the world's a big thing. So um, here's need to live and see if I can do this one. You know, see if I can master this challenge. At the same time, the globe needs information. I got to sort of be that, Tony Robbins, where, hey, just do this, motivate, and, here's some information. Did you know this? And you can do this. I don't want to be that person. Um, because that's wrong on so many levels. It's um, just another form of getting me to try and control you. Because if you did everything I want you to do, then the world will be perfect. And then I can quit smoking. And isn't that a control problem? I cannot do this with the mindset that I've got to control how everybody thinks and feels and the direction everybody on the planet wants. I gotta be perfectly at one with everybody choosing their own direction that they want to go down. Otherwise, I will be like my father and have control issues. The only thing that I'm interested in is having control over myself. And it's not so much over control over the voices, but winning the argument with those voices. And thanks, got to give credit to Canadian taxpayers for supporting me on this process, because that argument was so big and so loud and so strong that when I did work and I was forced to live in that, well, we want to say 8-hour work week, but it's more like, I don't know, anytime I went to work, it took an hour to get there, an hour to get back. You had to be to work 15, 20 minutes early. It takes you, there's a lot more than 8 hours going into a job. And when I was doing that, it was, couldn't listen to those voices, couldn't have that conversation because I was too busy. So now that I'm on this disability, I don't have that excuse that I'm too busy to have those conversations with my smoking addiction now. But now I can, and now I will, and now it's gone. And the challenge is on. Come join my team, or I'll join your team. Peace out.